Shalom family. This video might be a hard topic to process, but there are things happening in the world that more and more people need to recognize and become aware of. The world has been changing and continues to shift rapidly right before our eyes. What used to sound like something from a movie plot or a theory is now unfolding in real life. What we're talking about is the rise of digital currencies, digital IDs, crypto regulations, and AI, and how they're all being quietly woven together to build something much bigger than just convenience. And really, it's not even happening that quietly. Many people just aren't paying attention or connecting the dots. Some of these things may seem helpful on the surface, but the question we need to ask is, could these things be the building blocks of the very system that Scripture warned us about in the book of Revelation? Let's talk about it.
CBDCs. Governments around the world are signing new laws to roll out Central Bank Digital Currencies, or CBDCs. A CBDC is a digital form of a country's fiat currency, government-issued money that is issued and backed by its central bank. At the core, CBDCs carry an underlying idea of allowing governments to monitor every transaction and potentially even control how, when, or where you can spend your money. The problem with this type of digital currency is what it opens the door to. Former Federal Reserve trader Joseph Wang put it this way: CBDCs will give the government virtually complete control over the monetary system. But from an individual perspective, a CBDC would be a historic blow to privacy and individual liberty. And he's not alone. Human rights advocate Alex Gladstein warns that governments could financially exclude individuals or entire groups of people with the press of a button, leaving them with nothing. If access to digital cash is revoked, then they are truly helpless. Dante Desparte, Chief Strategy Officer and Head of Global Policy and Operations at Circle, says, with the CBDC, central banks would have a backdoor directly into your bank account, as well as the means to monitor every digital transaction made.
Even members of Congress have spoken out. Chairman Patrick McHenry said, the Chinese Communist Party uses a CBDC to track the spending habits of its citizens. That type of financial surveillance has no place in the United States. So no, it's not just about going paperless with a digital currency. It's about control. It's about giving centralized systems the ability to track, monitor, and even restrict what you do with your money. Some officials have come out and said, we're not doing a central bank digital currency. And while that might sound like a step back from the full control of a CBDC, the reality is they are still moving forward with the digital dollar. The US may not be calling it a CBDC anymore, but the setup is nearly the same.
Remain fully committed to my pledge never to allow the creation of the central bank digital currency in America. It won't happen. My first.
So I saw that clip on my Twitter timeline. I'm like, thumbs up, hell yeah. I'm flapping my wings like a bird because I'm like, we're free from the central bank digital currency. This is an actual win. And then a few moments later, I see the clip from his buddy, David Sachs. And this is what he said. Take a listen.
And now today, you have another historic legislative achievement that is a monumental step to fulfilling your promise to making the United States the crypto capital of the world. This Genius Act will unlock American dominance in the crypto industry by creating clear rules of the road. It will update archaic payment rails with a revolutionary new payment system. And it will extend U.S. dollar dominance, like you said, globally, by creating a digital dollar that people all over the world can use.
Did you guys hear that? One more time.
It will extend U.S. dollar dominance, like you said, globally, by creating a digital dollar that people all over the world can use.
So to me, that sounds like the same thing, just a different label. Instead of a central bank digital currency, oh, no, you're not getting that. You're just getting a digital dollar. Anyways, I was curious, so I went to ChatGPT and I asked it, I said, how exactly will our lives change with this new Genius Law passed and a digital dollar? And this is what it said. It said you'll still use dollars, but digitally. It said you won't stop spending money, but you'll slowly stop spending physical cash. It'll be fast, cheap, and convenient. But behind the scenes, every transaction will be logged, traceable, and potentially programmable, which sounds terrible. It says that pilot programs will start quietly. You might start getting offers like claim your $500 digital rebate, faster tax refunds if you sign up for your federal wallet, and it will feel like a reward, but it's bait to get you into the system early. I'm sure my audience will enjoy this one. We'll be nudged towards a digital ID, and to use the digital dollar long term, you'll likely need the KYC verification, your social security number, and possibly even biometrics, face scan, and fingerprint. And eventually the wallet will equal your ID. And once you're in, opting out becomes harder. Thumbs up. Next one, it says your money could be smart. Programmable money means that your funds could expire if not spent by a deadline. It could be restricted to certain merchants, items, or regions, or be frozen or limited based on government decisions or flags. So to me, that kind of sounds like if you get on their bad side, they could just freeze our funds. Think if you keep questioning about the files, your account's going to get frozen. If you keep, questioning why we send all this money to our greatest ally while we have a bunch of issues here at home, your funds will be frozen. Sounds great, doesn't it? Next one, it says surveillance will be built in. And that's pretty self-explanatory. Anything digital, they can basically see and flag you and watch what you're doing and spending on at all times. So good. Here we go. I'm sure my audience is going to absolutely love this one, and that is that they will have more control over us during emergencies. And think Palantir, they're going to have all our data. They're going to know if we're all this BS. And then they'll be able to say, oh, it's an emergency. There's a new, you got to stay home to stay safe. Hey, you, what do you think you're doing? We know that you're not. You're supposed to stay home and stay safe. And we see that you're trying to go to that bar, that movie theater, hang out with your friends. You're in danger. You're putting them at risk. Before, they couldn't really do much about it because you just use cash. Now it's all digital, what they're trying to do. So they'll just be able to shut your account down and you'll be screwed. And this is how it finished. It said, bottom line, this is what the Genius Act sets the foundation for: a compliant, traceable, and eventually programmable dollar rolled out by private actors, just strictly to avoid the CBDC label. With government back-end control, it won't look like tyranny at first. It will look like innovation, safety, and convenience. But over time, it becomes a soft prison that you can't escape without being flagged. Anyways, guys, who cares about all that? Because the good news is, at least it's not a central bank digital currency. It's a digital dollar, which does the same thing. And we're still controlled, and there's still psychopaths. But it's a different name, a different brand. So everything's great. Thanks, Trump, for banning CBDCs. Awesome.
Unlike the paper money we're used to, these digital currencies will be controlled by the government, if not already. They can track your purchases, restrict what you can buy and sell, or even turn off your access to it if you don't follow their rules. You remember this and the push for the poke? Well, if another one of those times is planned and a new poke comes along, think of how easy it would be for them to just shut your funds down until you do take it.
How does crypto fit in? Trump recently signed a cryptocurrency bill known as the Genius Act, expressing his desire to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. The Genius Act isn't just about giving crypto legitimacy. It's all about bringing stablecoins into a tightly controlled system. Those who issue it must hold full reserves, allow audits, follow money laundering rules, and even freeze accounts when required. While supporters call it consumer protection, critics warn it could create dangerous financial dependencies and could even open the door for surveillance over who can buy and sell. This is a huge step towards a centralized digital world. Cryptocurrencies at one time may have been seen as a way to have quote-unquote financial freedom, but now they're being brought under government regulation, or in other words, control. And most likely, that was the plan all along. Wallets are being tracked. KYC, or Know Your Customer laws, are expanding. Anonymous transactions are being discouraged or even banned. It's no longer about freedom, and probably never was, but about total control.
The dollar.
Now to your money, where the value of the U.S. dollar has suffered its worst yearly start since 1973. Economists say that the U.S. currency has weakened more than 10% over the past 6 months in comparison to monies from other top trading partners. It is a low not seen in decades. Actually, since 1973, when the Nixon administration stopped linking the dollar to the price of gold. Analysts say that several factors are to blame for the wounded dollar, including President Trump's tariff policies and increased government debt. They say rising concern about the U.S. role as the center of the world's economy can make foreign countries less likely to invest in the U.S.
We are seeing the value of physical money decrease in real time. Here's a chart where we can see the change in purchasing power over the years. We're sure you don't need a chart to realize that the value of money continues to decrease. Even compared to a few weeks or months ago, the dollar is just not able to purchase what it used to. It is falling fast and may soon be gone altogether. What that means is no more cash, no more pulling money out of your pocket, wallet, or purse, or going to the ATM to make a withdrawal. Now, we're not saying it's gone yet, because at the making of this video, you can still use cash. But things are definitely moving in that direction, making way for a new system that's been building for years. Once physical cash disappears, everything becomes digital. And yes, we're sure that in some areas, there will be some small groups who return to bartering or trading locally. However, for the vast majority of society, digital will be the only way to buy or sell. While much of today's spending is already done digitally, that shift didn't happen by accident. It was by design. It will make the transition into this new system feel smooth, familiar, and even convenient, but is leading somewhere much deeper. Having only a digital dollar or some other form of digital currency will give even more power to whomever or whatever controls the system. If your money is digital, it can be tracked, frozen, blocked, denied, and even deleted. That means if you say or do what the controllers don't like or consider wrong, you may be denied access to basic things like food, shelter, transportation, healthcare, and more. Again, this is not freedom, this is control. And yes, we are being controlled in today's system and given the illusion of freedom, but what is coming is unlike anything we've seen before.
Digital IDs. In addition to what we've discussed so far, there's a push for digital IDs. We often hear foolish arguments for it, like some people don't have access to proper identification, or people need a secure way to prove who they are. On the surface, this may seem like an important thing to do. However, items meant to control are often repackaged and represented as a helpful way to travel easier, go through security more smoothly, log into some website faster, or maybe even get access to your benefits more securely. Also, over the past few years alone, we've seen countless companies suffer major data breaches where sensitive personal information is stolen. So now, those pushing for digital IDs can simply claim that this digital ID will keep your identity safe. The reality is that those in control want to know your every step, your every move, your every purchase. What will happen when your ID is connected to everything? Like your bank account, your health records, your job, your social media, and even your beliefs. All of this and more put into one system. This is not a good scenario, but is happening. Artificial intelligence. Let's talk for a moment about artificial intelligence, or AI. AI is growing faster than many can truly even comprehend. No longer does it just answer search-related questions or writing code. It's taken over a lot of things, including jobs, and not just the physical labor ones that no one wants. It's replacing writers, artists, legal assistants, customer service, cashiers, drivers, warehouse workers, and soon, in some cases, even teachers and doctors.
We all know this. AI is fast moving, right? Well, it's now looped into most of our everyday tech, jobs, now education. And one Texas school is ditching traditional teaching methods and instead using AI-powered software to teach students core subjects in as little as 2 hours a day. Alpha School's Brownsville campus is a private pre-K through 8th grade school. Its leaders say they have seen the benefits of this model firsthand, with the goal being for students to learn faster and have more freedom to learn life skills like public speaking, for example. The bold model is gaining traction just as President Trump signs a sweeping executive order to put AI in every classroom across America.
Businesses are saying it's more, quote unquote, efficient to replace humans with machines. And these are just a few of the articles.
AI may sound like it's impressive and innovative, but what happens when people become useless in a system run by machines? AI doesn't need to sleep, it doesn't need to eat, it doesn't need to be paid, it doesn't argue, it simply follows the data and the programming. Now, what if that programming is aligned with the same global agenda that's already tightening control over what people say, do, or believe? We already see that AI is being used to power mass surveillance systems, facial recognition, predictive policing to arrest people before they commit crimes, behavior scoring and automated censorship on social media, and voice and face cloning to deceive and impersonate. Even AI videos are starting to look increasingly more real.
Un café con leche, por favor. Okay, so this is how you start. You find a tree and you just punch it down.
Bigfoot here. Check my breakfast.
This ocean, it's a force, a wild, untamed might. And she commands your awe with every breaking light.
Okay, so Riz is basically short for charisma.
Got it.
And that's a verb as well.
I remember when I was 30 years old and they just talked about AI, they always said it would take over the world. Little did I know, it actually would.
Listen to what the OpenAI ChatGPT founder said about AI recently.
Decades of sci-fi telling us that AI is eventually going to kill us all. And since you know more about AI than arguably anybody in this room, I just want to ask you, what does keep you up at night? What are the things that you worry about when it comes to AI, and how do we prevent those things that you worry about from coming true?
I think there's three sort of scary categories. There's a bad guy gets super intelligence first and misuses it before the rest of the world has a powerful enough version to defend. So an adversary of the US says, I'm gonna use this super intelligence to design a bioweapon to take down the United States power grid, to break into the financial system and take everyone's money. Something that would just be hard to imagine without significantly superhuman intelligence, but with it becomes very possible. And because we don't have that, we can't defend against it. So that's broad category one. And I think that the bio capability of these models, the cybersecurity capability of these models, these are getting quite significant. We continue to flash the warning lights on this. I think the world is not taking us seriously. I don't know what else we can do there, but it's this is a very big thing coming. Category two is the sort of broadly called loss of control incidents, where that's kind of like the sci-fi movie. The AI is oh, I don't actually want you to turn me off. I'm afraid I can't do that, whatever. And I think that is less of a concern to me than the first category, but a very grave concern if it came to pass. There's a lot of work we and other companies do on model alignment to prevent that from happening. But as these systems become so powerful, that's a real concern. And then there's the third one, which I think those first two are sort of easy to think about and imagine. The third one is, to me, more difficult to imagine, but quite scary, and I'll explain what it is, and then I'll give a short-term and a long-term example. This is the category where the models kind of accidentally take over the world. They never wake up, they never do the sci-fi thing, they never open the pod bay doors, but they just become so ingrained in society, and they're so much smarter than we are, and we can't really understand what they're doing, but we do kind of have to rely on them. And even without a drop of malevolence from anyone, society can just veer in a sort of strange direction. When I was a kid and Deep Blue, that AI system built by IBM, beat Garry Kasparov in chess, I remember my dad saying, this is the end of chess, and no one's going to play it again. But then it turned out that actually, although the AI was better than humans, AI plus a human together was way better than an AI or the human. You know, the AI would present 10 options, and the human would pick the best one or something like that and play the move. And everybody said, oh, we have this wonderful future of man and machine together. It's all no problem, whatever. That lasted 2 months, 3 months, something like that. And then the AI got so smart that the human only made it worse because they didn't understand what was really going on. And the AI alone trounced the AI and human. It's been like that ever since. Now, another interesting part of that story is everybody was convinced in the 90s that was the end of chess, because if AI could beat humans, why should humans care? Chess has never been more popular than it is today. People love to watch chess. We're very focused on real people doing like real people things. So there was like a very interesting thing that happened there. But this phenomenon, I think, is a really big deal. In the short term, you can see it where people we call this emotional over-reliance. People rely on ChatGPT too much. There's young people who just say like, I can't make any decision in my life without telling ChatGPT everything that's going on. It knows me, it knows my friends, I'm gonna do whatever it says. That feels really bad to me. And is a really common thing with young people. And we're studying that, we're trying to understand what to do about it. Even if ChatGPT gives great advice, even if ChatGPT gives way better advice than any human therapist, something about kind of collectively deciding we're going to live our lives the way that the AI tells us feels bad and dangerous than a bunch of things like that. The longer term category is, back to that chess example. What if AI gets so smart that the president of the United States cannot do better than following ChatGPT 7's recommendation, but can't really understand it either? What if I cannot make any better decision about how to run OpenAI, and I just say, you know what, I fully hand it over. ChatGPT 7, you are in charge. Good luck. That might be the right decision in any individual case, but it means that society has collectively transitioned a significant part of decision-making to this very powerful system that is learning from us, improving from us, evolving with us, but in ways we don't totally understand. So that's the third category of how I think things can go wrong.
Your Majesties, Your Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, dear laureates, ladies and gentlemen. This year, the Nobel Committees in Physics and Chemistry have recognized the dramatic progress being made in a new form of artificial intelligence that uses artificial neural networks to learn how to solve difficult computational problems. This new form of AI excels at modeling human intuition rather than human reasoning, and it will enable us to create highly intelligent and knowledgeable assistants who will increase productivity in almost all industries. If the benefits of the increased productivity can be shared equally, it will be a wonderful advance for all humanity. Unfortunately, the rapid progress in AI comes with many short-term risks. It has already created divisive echo chambers by offering people content that makes them indignant. It is already being used by authoritarian governments for massive surveillance and by cybercriminals for phishing attacks. In the near future, AI may be used to create terrible new viruses and horrendous lethal weapons that decide by themselves who to kill or maim. All of these short-term risks require urgent and forceful attention from governments and international organizations. There is also a longer-term existential threat that will arise when we create digital beings that are more intelligent than ourselves. We have no idea whether we can stay in control, but we now have evidence that if they are created by companies motivated by short-term profits, our safety will not be the top priority. We urgently need research on how to prevent these new beings from wanting to take control. They are no longer science fiction. Thank you.
All of these things we've talked about so far may not be seen everywhere at the present time, but we are now living in and witnessing a world where machines can determine people's access to work, food, housing, freedom, and more. While who or what is actually controlling or powering the machines may be up for debate, the reality remains that AI has and continues to gain more control in so many areas of life. In addition to this, there are other digital systems being normalized that point to a fully integrated world of controls, such as smart cities with sensors tracking movement, biometric scanning for basic access to various locations such as schools, banks, airports, digital health passes to determine travel or employment. Remember this. Social credit scores and systems rewarding compliance and punishing non-compliance. Think of this country. And digital driver's licenses and even digital birth certificates. All of these systems work together collecting data, monitoring behavior, and determining access, ultimately to know of and control every facet of your life. Once these things are implemented, disconnecting from them could pose a challenge or worse. Things have been steadily going towards these systems for many years, and most will just continue to follow and adapt to them with no question or thought.
So now we ask this question. How does all this tie into the beast system? Revelation 13, 16, and 17 says, "And he causes all, both small and great, and rich and poor, and free and slave, to be given a mark upon their right hand or upon their foreheads, and that no one should be able to buy or sell except he that has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." Are we saying that these things are the mark? No, we are not saying that. But what we are saying is that we are living in a time where this scripture is not far from reality. The groundwork has been laid slowly and silently, right under our noses. Although everything may not be fully implemented, we have to realize that this stuff was never going to come with some flashing lights, clanging cymbals, or some type of loud warning. So how might it look as things continue to be implemented? At first, it may look like progress is being made, that it's all for convenience or for your safety, and it's meant to just feel like normal everyday life. This is exactly how deception works. Family, we have to be awake to the times we are living in, and we must, and we repeat, we must be in a place where our focus is on Yahuah and his word. Yahuah gave us his word for a reason, not to scare us, but to prepare us. Things in the world are moving faster and faster towards a time where compliance to the beast will be forced, and those who don't go along with the system will be locked out of it, socially, financially, and digitally.
If your money is digital, your ID is digital, your behavior is scored, and your beliefs are monitored, how long will it be until the system says you can't participate unless you accept this mark? None of this is fear-mongering. It's just reality. Ephesians 6:11-12 says, "Put on the complete armor of Yahuah, for you to have power to stand against the schemes of the devil. Because we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against authorities, against the world rulers of darkness of this age, against spiritual wickedness in the Shamayim." So what do? Don't panic. Yahuah is still in control. We've said this in many videos before, and we'll say it again. We must get our houses in order. Our minds should be stayed on His word. We cannot be lazy or lackadaisical. This isn't the time to play around with the world or be lukewarm. We have to live lives that are made apart to Yahuah. That means that we need to pull away from depending on a system that was designed to fail, and we must learn to trust Yahuah for our daily needs and with our lives. Yahusha told us not to fear those who can kill the body, but to fear the one who can destroy both body and soul in Sheol. Revelations 18:4 says, "And I heard another voice from the Shamaim saying, 'Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues.'"
Family, we must come out. Come out of the mindset of depending on the world. Come out of the obsession with ease and convenience. Come out of the wicked ways of this world. Come out of trusting man's or Satan's system instead of Yahuwah's instructions. It may not seem easy, and for some, it might not be. But we cannot forget that Yahuwah is with us. We have to stop trying to fit in with the ways, customs, practices, and people of this world. We are not made to fit in. We are here to stand, endure, and overcome. And I saw a renewed Shamaim and a renewed earth. For the former Shamaim and the former earth had passed away, and the sea is no more. And I, Yochanan, saw the Kodesh city renewed, Yerushalayim, coming down out of the Shamaim from Elohim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the Shamaim saying, "See, the booth of Elohim is with men, and he shall dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Elohim himself shall be with them and be their Elohim. And Elohim shall wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, nor mourning, nor crying, and there shall be no more pain, for the former have passed away." And he who was sitting on the throne said, "See, I make all new." And he said to me, "Write, for these words are true and trustworthy." And he said to me, "It is done. I am the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end. To the one who thirsts I shall give of the fountain of water of Kai without payment. The one who overcomes shall inherit all this, and I shall be his Elohim, and he shall be my son." Revelation 21, 1-7.
Here is our plea to you. Please stay in Yahuwah's word. Stay in prayer. Be aware and watchful of what is happening around you, but don't be overcome or afraid of it. Stay grounded in Yahuah. He is trustworthy to those who put their trust in him. Many of you may have been sensing something in your spirit about what's happening in the world. If you sense Yahuah is leading you, follow as he guides you. Yahuah has been and is still waking up his people. So if he has awakened you, don't allow anything to put you back to sleep. We pray that this video helps you to see some of what is happening and hopefully to get you to draw in closer to Yahuah. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We love you and are praying for you. Until next time, family, Shalom.